Good morning, good afternoon. I hope you're having a good night if you're tuning in to it at night. It's currently morning time where I'm at. And if you miss your good morning show, here's your best morning show, the P.R.E.S.S. The P.R.E.S.S, which is the Prison Release Education Sanity Series.
Topic of the day: who's responsible for American children committing crime? On the P.R.E.S.S Podcast. Let's go. This episode of the P.R.E.S.S is sponsored by the e-firm Don't Let Your Loved Ones Become an American Prisoner. Visit us at efirm.org.
So welcome to the P.R.E.S.S, and here with me I have two guests.
Good morning. My name is Robert Shaheed Jackson. I'm a retired police officer from the city of Newark. It's always a pleasure to come and be with Amar and his endeavors.
My name is Kenneth Jackson. I'm also from Newark, New Jersey. Retired Virginia Beach police officer. And I'm here to share some of my personal experiences with some of the topics that Amar is going to touch on from empirical evidence, meaning that I've experienced it. I'm not talking about concept or theology or what somebody might think, but I'm talking about the shoe hitting the ground. I know what I've experienced it, and so I'm willing to share.
True indeed. Yeah, so long story short, I met Mr. Jackson in an anger management training that I was actually going through as I was developing my skill sets in anger management and prior to becoming a diplomat certified anger management coach myself. And it's kind of odd to certain people, why would a person like me with my experience of doing over a decade of my life in prison, Virginia State prison system. And, you know, I end up being close friends with a Virginia Beach retired police officer, New Jersey retired police officer. How did I get so entangled and close with relations with these guys based on my experience and their experience? We're going to talk about that. And I want you to learn things from what we talk about and not just, look for what you can judge. Look for what you can actually elevate from. All right. So, Mr. Jackson, when we was in anger management class, we went through different stages of the brain. And this particular conversation right here revolves around who is responsible for our youth in America committing crimes. So pretty much with that topic in anger management, we learned that there is something called an amygdala. Mm-hmm. And with that amygdala hijack in mind taking place and crime in society taking place, do it raise a thought in you about the reason the amygdala is part of why these youth may be committing crimes? Sure. And I'm sure you got other wisdom towards the reasons why it might be happening, but can you share?
Sure. I don't know if Shaheed even remember this, but back in the day when we was coming up on the block, they say somebody caught an egghead or a junie. Mm-hmm. He caught a junie on. That means he snapped. He went off. That's the amygdala part of the brain that once it's hijacked, you're going to get a release of adrenaline and cortisol, and they go into your system. Your brain, the frontal lobes, where your thinking is cut off now. So the amygdala is hijacked, and with that adrenaline and that cortisol, you get a high that lasts up to 4 hours. Now, I had 2 amygdala hijacks. Well, I could have killed somebody. Mm. But I practiced what I learned, not what I learned I learned it after the fact. When I went to the class, I realized I did the right steps to combat the hijack. You got to start counting. 1, 2, you got to get your breathing right because it's physiological things that take place.
Right.
You're going to start sweating. Your heart rate is going up. That's when they catch the junie. That's when they catch an egghead. They snap.
Right.
That's what they called it in the neighborhood back then.
Junie.
You caught a junie on them. You know, but
So the Junie was an amygdala hijack.
it was a hijack. That's
Okay.
all. But they
They
didn't
just
know
had
the
a different
clinical term.
terminology.
They didn't know the clinical
But they
term.
understood, they had a vision of what was going on though.
Yeah. When somebody snap and go off like that. So
Yeah, the Junie.
So
What do you think is the reason that they couldn't stop that Junie from taking place?
because they weren't taught it, they weren't proactive. They were reactive.
right. Okay.
They was reacting after the Junie. If you don't tell them what was coming, how just a basic human social communication, you as brothers talking. Mm-hmm. Hey, we ain't got to be fighting, but when you're young like that, you don't have that rationale. You haven't been through experiences to tell you how to, navigate that. Just
Right.
talking with people.
Right.
But kids want to fight to build themselves up, look good, the whole
Right,
thing.
they do. So, and a lot of that comes from a lack of grounding and a lack of grounding techniques. And we'll get into that though, because that is definitely some of the reasons why youth is constantly committing crime. A lack of awareness of what that Junie is or that amygdala hijack is, and a lack of being able to de-escalate that from taking place in their lives.
Yeah.
So,
Could I say this before you say that? Go ahead.
no, go ahead and say it.
Yeah, even in law enforcement, they get amygdala hijacks. If you get to chasing the guy for 3 blocks and you tired and you catch
your
adrenaline, man, and your cortisol is flowing. So if you don't have a really disciplined mind to not take it over the top, you only use the amount of force necessary to make the arrest. You don't punish. You only use the force necessary to make the arrest.
Right. What's the worst arrest you had to make?
Worse?
Yeah.
I had so many arrests.
Yeah,
all of them was bad to me anytime I had to incarcerate nothing bad.
Enough said, no.
I couldn't say that your petty crime was any worse than this felony crime.
I like
You
that.
had to go, you had to go. And
I like that.
It was really no
Yeah.
worse.
So you had empathy for the guys you had to
Right.
arrest.
Well,
pretty
one
much.
of the things with me was, growing up in Newark, it was a lot of racial tense there, and we had the riots and,
Facts.
but
You were in the riots?
I was in high school at the time. But I saw it. I mean, we lived right by the armory, and the National Guards was coming out in tanks, and it was all like they were in Vietnam going into the inner city. I wasn't right in the Central Ward where it basically took part.
Right.
But I was working in a bakery, and a minister, James Shabazz, he said, brother, wouldn't you rather you be the police officer coming in here talking to us rather than somebody coming in here beating our head with clubs?
True indeed.
And he inspired me, and I went on and took the police exam and got on the department, and I had a good career. Very good.
And I like that because we believe in community policing. We believe that we need police from our community that has empathy for the person that they have to incarcerate. Because if there's empathy involved in the arrest, then right then some education will start taking place.
Right.
Based on how that officer is actually communicating with that person that's going through that sickness or whatever it is that they're going through that's causing them to become incarcerated. Because we know it as a sickness, because we know 9 times out of 10 they're dealing with a psychological imbalance of some kind where something has taken place previously before that arrest took place that caused that person to actually deal with that circumstance.
Yes.
Their underlying effects.
I was privileged to run the Newark PAL for about 5 or 6 years in the boxing program.
Okay.
And, some of those kids just needed a parent or somebody to just hug them and say, I love you. Mm-hmm. And I got a relationship with quite a few young men that some went wrong, some went good, but just to be an impact on their lives at the time, right. Keeping them out of juvenile detention, showing them the right way, taking them to meet different celebrities and things.
Right.
It was impactful for it. Matter of fact, Bill Moyers came from CBS one time and did a documentary with me, and it was The Vanishing Black Family.
The Revenge in Black Family documentary. I think I actually took a look at some of that with you before.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
And we talked about what it is the cause. Like you said, who in society causes it. Society starts at home. Because
Right.
the first social order or introduction you have is in your house.
That's right.
And if your parents are dysfunctional, you're going to grow up basically in their footsteps.
And that's a fact. And that's why in the school to prison, and when we talk about the school to prison pipeline and dismantling that pipeline, which is the reason we talk about it, we don't just talk without solutions. We provide all various solutions through Amar's Enterprises, efirm.org, cdcoachinggroup.com. We provide solutions through workshops, curriculums with terminal objectives, etc. The museum project, different stuff that we do to actually dismantle this school to prison pipeline. Because we understand that the pipeline is only there because there's no grounding in the home.
Right.
And like you said, like the school to prison pipeline, everybody know of a school. They know a prison. But do they understand what the pipeline is? See, most people look at a pipe and it's just in a line.
Right.
And it's in a pipeline. And see, you have to define these pipelines in order to create correct grounding and correct techniques of avoidance. You have to understand the underlying hidden dynamics behind their behavior.
Right. Well,
And
the pipeline isn't just a physical thing, it's a mental thing.
right, the pipeline is a mental thing, but yet the pipeline includes disengaged parents,
Right.
as you said in the home, disengaged parents. It start right there.
Right.
But it don't just start with it goes further than just the in the home, because even from the moment of the parent developing a family, which is why I wrote that new book that I wrote, If You Don't Want Your Man to Run. It's more of a rites of passage, because we don't get that about how to deal with one another in relationships. If
Right.
the individual is messed up, see, most individuals, when they first move in a home together in America, a lot of them are already messed up when they try to merge together. So as they try to merge together, you're bringing two broken individuals into a house trying to make it a home. And so if you bring two broken individuals into a house trying to make it a home, and they start to procreate, and raise broken children, you basically you have a broken family. And that family structure helps create that broken community. Then that broken community creates a broken society, and it just spreads. But what happens when the leadership at the top of that society is broken? And it's trickling down from leadership, and it's not just coming from that root.
Right.
That we're saying these two broken individuals come in this house together. And why do I say that? Because there's not just disengaged parents that make up that school to prison pipeline. That pipeline is made up by disengaged staff. That staff includes school boards, government policy and procedures that govern how these schools are ran. So all these things that propel them and teach them to become criminals, pretty much. Even certain color, the way the colors are designed on certain walls in certain schools, and way that certain schools program these children, and to the point where they can't even have their individualism is just gone. Meaning they trying to be everything but themselves. They don't have no self-efficacy, meaning they don't feel like they can do anything unless they follow a career, when they basically can be taught to create a career.
Well, the first thing you got to do is teach a man his history. When you rob a man of his history, his religion, his name, his God, when you rob a man of that, he's on the road without a map.
I totally agree.
The journey isn't mapped out for you. And a lot of times that's by design. And I say in America, that's it.
And it is by design. I agree with you. And it goes to the point, like, when you say that, it's like, I have to appreciate that wisdom, because that encourages me more to continue to push the E-Firm, the Ex-Felon Entrepreneurship Retail Museum Project.
Right.
That E-Firm Museum is a history of how the criminal mind develops.
Well, let me say this. The criminal mind, I look at it and say in Newark and New Jersey, prior to the riots, they told you if you wanted to collect welfare and get food stamps, mother, you have to put the father out the house.
Right.
And that has significant impact on the family.
Separation.
If you don't have a man in that discipline, I mean, a woman could raise a son, but a teen raises them better.
And I listen to you say that, and it's a fact. And I tell anybody that a man raises the boy. All right, he needs his mother for nurturing.
Right.
He does. But I don't need you to nurture that boy to the point where when I'm ready to take him out to hunt and put a rifle in his hand, that you shooken up and trying to keep him on your bosom. But I'm telling you, he got to go learn how to hunt for his own food. And you're trying to feed him through breast milk and keeping him on your bosom at an age where I need him to break away from you. At this point, he can walk, he can crawl. Let me teach him how to run correctly. And so if you won't let me teach him that, you're only crippling the son later. And basically when these female tendencies coming out of these boys, and when they're supposed to be becoming men, then you're wondering why it's so rapidly accepted and spreading that you can see no masculine male on a television station. It's just like no masculine male on a television station taking care of his family, showing positive community change. That should be, you can find that talent and put that all over television if you want to, but it's not sought.
No.
The foolery is sought. And so the same way a woman can't raise a man have no business, if he can avoid being in that position, raising a little girl by himself.
Right.
Because there's things that woman had. For instance, it's things that we don't understand when that female bleed. We don't bleed monthly like they do.
Right.
There's things that we don't feel when they feel in that process. So if they're not taught to understand that process, they won't be able to relate that process to no mate they bringing her home. That alone, during that period of their menstrual cycle, if they don't know how to explain that and relate that to their male partner in that home, can create total friction, because he don't know why she's snappy. He don't know why she's restraining from pleasing him sexually. He don't know why, and it just create an emotional war. And people don't realize, like, in society, this crime that these youth is experiencing, a lot of it is trickling down straight from the imbalance of emotional transferring between the two parents. The two parents, they're emotionally at
When
war.
they see the parents fighting and disruptive household.
Right.
I mean, now you put them in a point, do I choose to go with mom or do I choose to go with dad?
Right.
They both arguing now. Whose side am I supposed to be on?
Right.
Hey, could I say this? When I got divorced from my wife, my first wife, I was saying something in the car. My daughter was riding me, and I was saying something about her mother. And my daughter said, "Dad, don't say nothing about my mother." I said, "All right." Second time it happened, I don't know if it was the same day or weeks later, but I was saying something. She said, "Dad, I told you don't say nothing about my mother. I don't let her say nothing about you." Man, I was shocked, man.
You gotta respect that.
Man, she said, "I don't let her say nothing about you."
And I would always respect my children and definitely try not to put negative stuff in their head about their mother. That can be a hard task when you have to display truth to them and you know there's negative things they need to hear, yet you have to have a way of exposing that to them where it don't damage them, because I never want any of my daughters to lose respect for their mother. Nor the sons, but definitely not my daughters. I don't want them to lose respect for their mother to the point where they can't listen to their mothers, unless I see their mothers put them in some direct harm.
But as a result, me and her mother the best of friends.
Right.
All the rest of our life. We've been divorced. She's been remarried. I've been remarried. But we're still cool because Chelsea was the temperature gauge to hey, she gonna hold both of us accountable.
That's right.
And in check.
And I was going to ask you.
Stay solid.
I was going to ask you how much is that Because you accepted the truth.
I did.
Took accountability.
I did.
When she said that.
Hey, when she was fighting for me, I couldn't say no more. She said, I don't let her say nothing about you.
Right. But that's the maturity in you and not the bully side that would have said what some parents would have said in their ego state. Parent ego state. Not the adult ego state.
That's right.
All right? In the parent ego state, parent would have said, not just because they're parent though, because they're in that parent ego state. Shut up. I'm going to say what I want to say. Right then, that child is emotionally scarred. That child is, whoa. You know what I'm saying? This is my dad telling me shut up. And she a female. My daughters talk so much trash. I don't tell them. I be like, look, calm down. Chill. Come on now. And I still keep smiling with them. Not with an aggression that I'm going to beat you down. No. Because when you're a lover of your children and a lover of truth, you can talk about Chelsea's success right now. You can talk about that. Because of that respect level that you have, not only for her, but for yourself and for people in general. That's why. You know, and that's why she's not out here trying to commit crimes to survive.
So, very independent, on her own beauty salon, working for the New Jersey Institute of Technology, a college. Man, she blowing up.
Exactly.
She exceeding what I even expected of her, or even, but that was all through prayer, discipline, and definitely training.
Right.
I train Chelsea all the time.
How many children you have?
3.
3. Okay.
2 boys and 1 daughter.
Okay. Nice. How are your boys?
How old are they? Shahid is 49 and Rashid is 46. And my daughter is 53.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I know I look young, but I have some older.
Yeah, man, you look pretty young. I'm shocked. I'm pretty shocked. You probably got a couple different
Yes. I had the privilege to work with people like Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali. I went on a world tour with Cool in the Gang. I did a United States tour with Smokey Robinson. I've done different side weekend things like Eddie Murphy, Yolanda Adams, different, celebrities. Yeah. And it was good that, that the kids or the children in Newark got to see, hey, man, our coach is out there.
Right. Right.
And then I could bring back some of the experiences.
Right. You definitely bring them back, man. And I commend you for that, because it's important. Like, even with you coaching them children in boxing, through boxing, and getting them to the point where some of these guys are actually fighting and went far and fought.
Yeah.
And you got these guys to those points. And it's like, you can't measure and put a value on that.
Right. I had some boxers, one became a city councilman.
Right. Quite
a few became police officers.
Right.
Some did get incarcerated. Some ended up getting murdered.
Right.
But, it was an impact, because I used to say, like, I just keep them in my arms, keep them in my village.
Right.
And they grow up and then they're going to go and do what they want to do.
Right. They are. And they're going to do according to what's been instilled in them mentally, number one. Because here's the thing. I believe we are ordained for certain missions. However, I do believe that people astray from those missions. And they astray from those missions and a lot of times because they never find their true selves in order to identify what that purpose may be. Now, that in saying that, this is why I do the work I do. It's unfair to me to watch as an adult a society of children go astray when I have any type of means that I'm blessed with to provide the proper prevention intervention, and reentry solutions that they need to actually become grounded. We can teach a lot of different grounded techniques. There's various ones. He said breathing, that's one. Said breathing. You also got scratching. You scratch your fingers, your legs. You know, it help you become more calm and relax. Help you regain control and focus. You know what I'm saying? You could breathe. You could do that 5 senses exercise if you know those.
Hey, Abraham Lincoln said, if you're really mad, count to 10. But if you're really, really mad, count to 100. Like I said, you got to restart your brain with that amygdala. Because once it's shut off, man, I could, like I said, on a couple times, kill somebody. But just think of the guy who's doing the road rage. You get cut off in traffic, you know, and the next thing you know, you're shooting at somebody. The amygdala is when you act outside the realm of normal stuff. You know, you go to another level.
Well, see, the 5 senses, you go to another level, and see, the 5 senses exercise is a go-to for when you get ready to have anxiety attacks and stuff like that. It's how you regain control. It's one method. 5 things that it's other methods, but it's the 5 senses method. 5 things that you can see. 4 things that you can touch, physically touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. That's the 5 sense method to reducing your anxiety and regaining control. And see, if you can regain control through those methods, now there's others, it won't work every time for you. But the thing is, these youth, if they're taught these techniques and taught them early enough, they'll be aware, okay, this is a form of potential anxiety. Not saying that I'm suffering from anxiety, but America suffers from anxiety. America suffers from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. That's current stress disorders right now because people are having TSRs all around the place, meaning traumatic stress reactions. They're having them everywhere. So my thing is to reduce that reaction, it has to come to a point where we have these youth understand, even if it's just that one method. This is the things they learn through the coaching company when they go to cdcoachinggroup.com and start taking courses. It's other stuff that I could just name and go on and on and on. And it's only developing because I see my school as life. That's my first curriculum. My school is called Life.
Yes, sir. Living in Future Enthusiasm.
That's right, LIFE. That's what the acronym is. And see, one thing I like about you, man, and I don't just like it, I love about him, the brother is a walking CDCG and E-Firm up in Newark. You know what I'm saying? He knows the program.
Encyclopedia, man.
Yes, he knows it, and he can coach it. He can show people the importance of becoming an EE coach. An empirical evidence coach is someone coaching from their direct experiences and what they've been through. You're not just coaching from your college degree or taking a theoretic approach based on just book stuff that you've accumulated. You went through this and now you figure out a way not to constantly let that be your daily routine. And you have transferred your life into measures where you're producing and being productive, and you're taking that experience and showing somebody else that same walks, and you're doing it with more empathy because you experience it.
Right.
If a person been on drugs and they get off of drugs, they're going to have more empathy about helping people get off drugs than a person that's never been on it.
Because they don't understand the devil, man.
They don't understand the devil in it. That's right. And there's a devil in every concept. There's a devil in that penitentiary. So stepping out of that penitentiary and coming in this society, guess what? A man has a certain emotional experience that he's having. He's going to experience it that first day, that next week, and that second week, and it's going to continue on in different forms. And if you never had to do that time and step out here and you're trying to guide individuals through re-entry that's coming home, you're not going to give them the empirical evidence they need 9 times out of 10 to get to where they're going. A couple of them, it's going to seem like your program might be doing it for them when you don't have the experience, but basically pretty much them guys are coming home sharp, a lot of them, and they already have a goal set.
They develop all over there.
Right. And then you have programs that use these guys to make their programs look successful when really they're not the reentry specialists. They're not. And they're just getting the money and funding to put behind the skills that as entrepreneurs, a lot of these individuals could put themselves in position and do for themselves. That's why I actually talk about, yeah, we can have unity in doing this and doing that, but we can't have unity if you're going to leave me in poverty.
Right.
While you live.
Eating iron ore.
Yeah, we can't have unity like that. That's not unification. Right. I'll work with you all day long. You know, I'll get along with you, but you can't leave me in poverty because poverty, if y'all let you leave me in poverty, I'm allowing you to create a criminal out of my children. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
Because there's a lot of high-paying jobs, but the skill gap in the parent skill is just not there for a lot of times those parents to get those high-paying jobs. And they're not being put in position to even get educated enough to apply for those jobs. And by the time they get educated enough, they already got a child that's caught up in the system. So it's just a domino effect that's happening because people not taking their program serious like they should. We should be looking for new solutions to dismantling the development of the criminal mindset every day in America. And if those solutions are able to be latched onto, it's no reason why we shouldn't latch the funding onto these programs and get these things where they need to be and in the position where they need to be to give these youth hope. Because if you first give them hope, you can change them. If you never give them hope, that's what a lot of my jury is about. Give them hope. Like, whoa, I love them diamonds. You ain't just seeing it in the rap video. I love them diamonds he got on. What he do? So when they see what I do, yo, he write books. He own healthcare companies. Oh, wow. He got a museum. Oh, he did 10 years in prison. After that, he did all this stuff, and it's giving them a vision of hope that I can wear my diamonds and I can still open up a museum. That's why I have a museum concept. It's a museum concept designing class that I do during the camp, CAMP, Creativity Above Mental Programming. That's the summer camp. During that camp, that actual class right there is one of the classes where we get them to go into their creativity. Because a lot of these youth are programmed through their experiences not to think that they can create a museum. You think if I had the concept in my mind to create a museum at 19 years old, I would have been sent to prison for murder instead of actually staying out here developing that concept? Because I would have had vision instead of having a vision that I was going to get successful through a gun. Because that was my vision. I was going to get successful through this pistol. I would sell drugs. I would sell anything to make money. Drugs besides my body and that pistol. I wouldn't sell them things to make money when I was young. But everything else, it was sellable. You know what I'm saying? I had my principles with my street dudes that we live by certain codes, but everything else was sellable. But not that pistol. Because that pistol in my mind was, I'm going to always be able to get some money with this. Because at 12 years old, I seen the fear that it put in a grown man when I pulled it out of him. And it gave me so much control over him. I was like, wow. Oh, he was like, don't shoot. And I was like, give me your money. 12 years old. It's about 12 or 15 young boys with me. I'm probably one of the youngest ones, but some of them about 14. None of them over 15. I'm 12 years old. I done took the gun and basically created me an experiment. I ain't gonna talk about it up here because I used to go try it. But yeah, I saw how that gun and the power from it shook that grown man up. So at that point, I wanted a piece of my stepdad. At that point, I was like, oh yeah, he done did too much. He done fought on mama. He done whooped me, my siblings. He done been tough. And I'm 12 years old, and I done seen this grown man give me his wallet for this gun. I said, now let's be clear. I gave that grown man some money later on for what I did, and he don't know that's why. That's one of the reasons I gave him that, because I actually saw him at a gambling machine. And I don't know if he'll win or lose. And I just was like, later on in my life, I remember what I did to him. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey man, you on that machine? He's like, yeah. And I said, here. How good. He looked at me like, all right, thanks, man. No, that he never know though. And I said, nah, I just felt I had plenty of money in my pocket. And later on, and I remember that I did that when I was 12 years old. And I was like, here. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't repaired the fear that I put him through. It ain't changed the anxiety or PTSD, the damage I might have did to that man when I was 12 years old. He wasn't no thug in the streets or nothing. He was just but after that, I refused to rob the mainstream people, and I just wanted to rob street people. Cause I was like, I thought it was fair. I trained my mind to believe that if we out here selling drugs and all this, it's fair game. But when they would do it to me, I could do it to them. You know what I'm saying? And so I felt like it was just fair at that point, and I trained my mind to think that was how my life was supposed to be built. And that wasn't the truth. I had felt myself false information, which is why now I write on the ICD. That
correct conceptualization damage.
Right. I write on that.
Did you catch that, Shaheed?
The ICD.
Incorrect conceptualization damage.
Concepts.
Right. That's what the ICD is. It's in my second book, Reforming the Thoughts of a Criminal Mind, or my third book, Reforming the Thoughts of a Criminal Mind. It's the first chapter. It's called the ICD. And the ICD is incorrect conceptualization damage. And that's like where I had fed, that was an example I just talked about, where I had fed myself all this false information about this was supposed to be my lifestyle. And I was supposed to be pretty much getting money by all means necessary, even if it meant putting a gun to somebody's head in broad daylight, and just taking my chances of kind of accepting that, yeah, I'm going to be going to prison eventually, or somebody going to kill me. And it's kind of like when you accept that, that's the damage. That's what kind of inspired me to write that chapter, because that's the damaging mindset that I talk to people about that really destroys your future. And they tried to give me a 58-year plea bargain. You know what I'm saying? Because and these things really do damage you. They destroy your future. And some people never get back. But that ICD gave me, ICD realization, it gave me the ability to take a look at how my mind was set wrong. And I'm like, yo, when we set our clock, we don't set our clock wrong. We set it so we can tell time. So I had to start questioning, what was my mindset at? I need to be an hour early, because I'm days and days behind, years behind. I'm slow. I'm allowing myself to be the product that they need in mainstream to claim they got a client that need a service, and we need more money to pay for his services. I'm like, nah, hold up. Why do I have to be the client when I can operate as the giant and lead the solution instead of being the problem? I already know the problem. I was stuck in it for years. I done went through all type of stuff. You name it. Child abuse, go from that to prison. My mom tried the hardest she could to raise me and keep out the streets. Mother couldn't raise no son. No son seeing no mother go to work and every day working for 12 to 18 hours a day, still coming home trying to cook and all that. A real son abused. And being abused by a stepfather who don't work nowhere. And what do you think man gonna do when he look at that? If he's a young man developing and he's not a chump and he's a real male that can develop self-efficacy like I had, real determination that I could do what I want to do. That's one thing the streets gave me, a lot of self-efficacy. Oh, I can do what I want to do. And just as much as I know I can do the street stuff, I know I can do positive stuff. And that's what helped my life become what it is today. Because the problem is some people don't know they can do the positive stuff. They just think they can do the street stuff.
Right.
And that's what I was caught into. So seeing my mom go through that, I was like, oh no, I got to take care of her. So what do you do as a youth? My mom ain't gonna be going to work like this. Nah. I'm looking at TV. Michael Jordan mama ain't going to work like that. I got Jordan shoes though. Got some on right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, his mama ain't going to work for nobody for 18 hours a day. But while she at work, I'm all in the projects doing whatever I want. I'm doing what I want to do. Stepdad, he don't pay nothing on mine. He wouldn't even answer the front door. There's somebody knocking on the door. Like they were trying to kick it in. They lay right there in the bed, won't answer the telephone, smoke a cigarette, make his demands of food or whatever. Out the house, go and gamble, whatever he do. You know what I'm saying? Living his life. But my thing is, when he ready to beat somebody, he'll do that. But it got to the point at 12 years old, he realized his beans couldn't hurt me no more. I stole a water gun from the store up the street. My mom came, got me from the store so the lady wouldn't call the police on me. I was mad at the lady for even calling my mom on me. I just thought she should have let me steal the stuff because she was from the projects down the street. But she did the right thing. She called my mama. She didn't call the police.
She didn't call the police.
She called my mama.
Yeah.
And she was trying to teach me a lesson. She called my mama instead of letting me take the water gun. And I'm thinking like, why would you call my mama on me and get me in trouble? My mama come get me, take me home down the street to the projects where we stayed. And I get to the apartments and I'm like, all right, going upstairs. He comes up there to beat me. And I'm like, this too much. Now I'm realizing the chump can't beat me. I'm 12 years old. I said, this might been a good thing when I thought about it. Look, so he can't hit me. He trying to hit me. I'm blocking him. Grabbing him. Move, get on me. So, the whole time, my mom don't know. I done got totally mad at my mom. Because if anybody want to hit me, you need to be the one to hit me, not him. Because at this point, I'm 12, I'm thinking, he don't take care of me. You do. You the one work all the hours. You the one why I'm in here, don't want to ask you for the buy me no water gun. I'd rather steal it and keep you, so you keep your money in your pocket. I seen you steal us clothes. That's how hard she went for us. When we didn't have good clothes and stuff and we was young children, I seen her make sure we had something to put on our back, bro. You say you picked up the habit when you was young and you was trying to steal a water gun. Hey, maybe so. The apple don't fall from the tree, but guess what? I learned better not to steal a water gun. I learned to own companies where I could produce water guns and sell 1 million of them if that's what I want to do. All right? I can manufacture them and get them to the retail line and sell them for the summertime and make plenty of money. Entrepreneurship for y'all youth. And that's what we do at the museum. We bring that out of them. Ex-Felon Entrepreneurship Retail Museum. The ex-felon is the past piece. Entrepreneurship retail, the current practices, and how you run our life to produce museums all around the country. Yeah, man. Y'all, I love talking to y'all. I love building with y'all brothers. I know they gotta get on the road. I call them before they hit the road. It's been nice building with them, even though I know I do a lot of running my mouth. These some sharp brothers. Anything y'all want to say to these people before we close out?
I just wish you the best. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Stay positive.
Yeah, I want to say this through it all, with seeing Amar's enterprises and what he's established. I told him just last night, I said, man, I'm not with you because of anything that you have, but I'm with you because of what you do.
Facts.
The vision you got. That's what I loved about him. Whether we bump heads, argue, fall out, we come back together because we know our hearts are connected I'm connected to his vision.
That's
and
right.
I don't mind him leading.
That's
and
right.
I don't mind following.
And likewise, because you're not a good leader if you can't follow. So I follow a lot of wisdom this brother has given me. Likewise with Shaheed. I call Shaheed the glue. Shaheed knows a lot of people. Shaheed just had me on the phone with Queen Latifah's dad last night. I mean, he knows a lot of people. And, you know, and I'm just saying that to say this. People that has their life together and have no reason to want nothing from you financially, and they have their stuff together, they don't have no reason to really answer your call unless you somebody good in their heart to them. So, you know, and I can say that not just because he your brother, and ever since I met him, Shaheed, he's treated me like a brother. And that go for all they brothers when I go to church. It's a bunch of them. It ain't just them two. There's a bunch of them. Man, a big family, they show me love, and I'm going to show that love back. That's what I believe in, reciprocating love, not the hate. And if the hate is there, let them be late on their own. Get out your way and graduate. Yeah, your own way, that is. Yeah. Shaheed, you good?
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace. We going to get some breakfast, man.
God bless you.
God bless you. Just tuned into the Real Good Morning Show. He said, God bless me, and I appreciate it because guess what? It's a lot of mess out there, man, that we got to be on point to, and we got to stay prayed up and meditate up, whatever it is you do, and stay connected to the Almighty Creator. You know what I'm saying? More power to you. I ain't judging you, man. Almighty Creator, your name is your name. Peace. Enter the X-Felon Entrepreneurship Retail Museum and pay for their education now or pay for their lawyers later. We're here to prevent that. Let's go.
Visit the E-Firm at efirm.org to schedule a virtual or in-person tour. Get the knowledge and resources you need to know the ledge. Don't let your family members become an American prisoner. Pay for their education now or pay for their lawyers later at efirm.org.